Good morning. I've got another acrylic. I'm working from a watercolour that I did a couple of months ago. If you remember, I dated that 13th of the 12th, so 13th of December, before Christmas. How time flies. So I'm going to have a go at doing this in acrylic, or a version of it. I'm not going to stick slavishly to it. I'll put it up on the side of my easel so I know what sort of composition to follow. I'm going to draw it out roughly. Well, I could use a pencil really, just to get the path going down there. With some nice scrubby trees, or trees, winter, just to remind me where things are going to go. This is going to come a bit of a slope down there, and some trees coming here. We can one coming up here. And then figure, coming down there, put another one. Right, okay, I'm going to just adjust the focus, or it's on automatic focus, that's okay. It was on manual yesterday and it tends to put, trying to find out which is the best focus for the board. If I put my head in the way, it probably focuses on that. Right, okay, so that's the basic. Let's put in some, try to find, I'm using old bristle brushes. I just want to draw these out. Now I can make these silver birches because they've got those lovely textured bark, silver bark, and dark bits and brown bits. So I'll just have that coming up there, just because whatever you put on is going to be covered up. And one here. One up there. The beauty of acrylic is its speed in drying. Put a bit of ivy on some of these here. Just a reminder of what is going where. And then behind it we have blue background with another tree up there. Right, okay, so right, that'll do. Right, take over your brushes. Right, we'll mix up a bit of the sky colour. So we'll have a warm sky, or warm landscape with a cold sky, cold snow. So we'll just make it up as we go along. Now my colours here, I'm using up all these colours here, but I keep adding bits, but I'm enjoying the acrylic. Having done, over 300 watercolour demos in the last 14 months, I'm a bit stale with it. And I've got a new lease of life with this way of painting. So here we are. I'm using the back of a failed watercolour. It's Fabriano, quite smooth paper, which is fine for this, but it's got a slight tooth. But as we build up the impasto, of course, you can drag over it. It's 15 inches by 11. I get it from Arts Discount. blocks of 100. Seems to be good for everything really. It's £130 weight, and these have to be really mounted behind glass in slip mounts, rather than double mounted behind glass, because they're delicate. But if you varnish them and you can stick them on a bit of hardboard, they would be very durable, and you could mount them, or you could frame them as if they were oil paintings. When they're dry, it's plastic, and although I was going to do this today, I was going to mix up a bit of PVA glue with, well, I'll still do that. PVA glue with a bit of water to dilute it, and you can use that as a medium. Instead of using pure water, you can use the PVA glue. It's all plastic, but when it's wet, of course, it's water soluble. But once it's dry, it's herbicide. Okay, enough from me. Let's get in with a bit of white, bit of blue, bit of crimson, alizarin. The palette is white, of course, light red, alizarin crimson, ultramarine. I'm probably won't use the cerulean, burnt sienna, black. I've got some viridian there which I won't use. Some yellow ochre and a lemon, a light cadmium anyway. So there we go. So let's just pile in some paint. And whatever you put down, you can change if you don't like it. So I will bring that down, and as you get to the horizon, lighten the colours, lighten the mix. This is just making the surface waterproof now, slowly. And as it soaks in, you can prime it with some white primer, or any colour really, first before you do anything. That'll give you a good start. You won't have to spend time like I am, just killing the canvas. I hope you enjoyed the one I digested of the two silver birches. I should have used a painting knife on some of the texture, just to vary the surface texture a little bit. So let's have a bit of light red there. So let's just get that in. I'm covering up those trees now, but never mind. We're going to paint over all this. Light red is a great colour for skies. It used like pure. I've got a bit of blue mixed in with this, but used with white, it gives a nice pink, a lovely pink. But you can open it as a very, very strong colour, or pigment, shall I say. So that's coming on. It's going to take a while to do this, just to get this surface on. But let's just get that in there. Work away. I'll let that dry a bit. Brush, keep your brushes clean. I'm going to use another brush now. This brush is losing hairs like nobody business. But anyway, I'm going to put some background in on there, which I'm going to paint over once it's done. Bluish, but fairly not too heavy. So let's just get a nice tree shape, canopy of twigs. We can put warm in there, a bit of sienna, and some nice dark on the horizon here. Look, who's in hairs. So whatever you put on, you can adjust. I'm building up a surface of texture over this. And remember, it's all about light against dark. And the light will stand out against this dark background here. Right, let's get that in there nicely. I'm going to put in a bit of some sienna in there, a bit of red. So these are our trees up here with the nice canopies. So it's taking paint. Right, we'll get some nice, oops. Just to show some distant, the blue here is distant trees. But these are subordinate to this big one here. Okay, that needs to come up a little bit higher. I will paint over this because I haven't finished the sky yet. Okay, let's go back into the sky now. No, let's block in this landscape. So a lot of white, of course, but with a bit of blue in. Just cover. That's going to have a lot of white in it. Just put a bit of warm colour in there. And the shape of this landscape will be shown by the direction or the shadows going down. The light of this is going to come from over here, so that I can show the, well, coming from about here. So these will come, the shadows will come down all over the land there, and you'll see the shape of the land with that device. But you need dark on the horizon, on its horizon, so that it counter changes against the light snow. The darker you make this, the lighter that will become. But we've got to find a nice colour for that. So alizarin crimson, a bit of black, a bit of white, a bit of yellow maybe. Try and put a lot of colour in this area here. Okay, that's all right. Well, I love mucking about with black. It's a lovely, fabulous colour. Mixes well with other colours, and we can get some warm in there. Warm it up. I mean, you can work away at these for forever and a day. Okay. Right, let's go back on the sky now. So it's all lost and found. It's trying to make a softness. My ferrules, because they're a cheap brush, they fill up with water. Eventually it undermines the brush. Right, let's put a bit of this light back in the sky, a bit of yellow ochre. Put all that in there. Right, let's get some nice clouds in it now. I was out this morning, I meant to get a tube of burnt umber. So now I can judge the tones better. Now we've covered up most of the white. We can begin to develop things here. Get some lights back in here. See, this is so lovely to work over as it dries. Start building up a surface, and then let's put a bit more up here, and then we'll go back with some blue. Let's clean the brush. Whatever you do, make sure your brushes, or the paint on the brushes, doesn't dry, because you'll say goodbye to your brush. Keep it nice and clean. So let's get into some blue, some bit of alizarin. Just takes the sting out of the blue. Don't make it too dark. Like that. I'll go back over that. That's not quite good enough yet. Just showing just brightening it all up. Oh, this would be the misty hills in the distance. There's some great acrylic painters around, Terry Harrison, Alwyn Crawshaw, the traditional landscapes, but you can use this for abstracts, all sorts of weird and wonderful things you can mix into it. That might be just a bit too heavy for that, but anyway, let's put it in. Because by the time I put in the, whoops, don't go too high. I've come over it, that's not a very nice shape now. I'll just let that dry off a bit, and I'll just go back into this area here. I want to get some nice warm colour in there. put in some blue and some crimson there. Loving a little bit sheer, that colour, just a bit too obvious. Alright, we can lighten that, let's let that dry off a little bit. We'll go back over, I was using the wrong brush there, haven't I? I'll go back over that sky, around this tree here to see if I can get a better shape on it. Paint over that and I'll redo that around there. See that you can change all the time with this, it's so quick. We'll put in the trees soon, but I just want to just play all this misty stuff down here. I'll have to let that dry now a little bit. It won't take long, but I'll can do some trees. I'm going to do more work in this. Right, now I need to, I'm loath to use my nice watercolour brushes, so oh look at that. My grandson came up at the end of that demo I did yesterday. Trying to be quiet, which is impossible for a 6-year-old. So let's put these trees in. Let's just get a nice shape here. Just get a basic shape going. But this will be quite big and quite thick. I'll be thickening all this up. It's let's just come up here. Right, okay. Right, we can turn. I'm going to put a lot of light over this. This is just a rough in. Get that a bit thicker there. And I'll use probably my 1/2 inch flat on this up here. Well, that's one. Let's get another one, different direction, coming up here. Then we've got one coming up here. But it's going to have some ivy, or something climbing up, climbing up the trunk. Well, I'm repeating myself there. That's the problem. You do a line and you do another one exactly the same. Remember, some branches come down as well as go up. Right, that's okay. That's just building things up here. go for the rigger in this. The masterpieces take a little longer. Right, I'll find a brush like that I can use for a bit of stipple. So let's so a bit dark green. So that's where the black comes in handy. Bit of red in with it. And then we'll just dot. And around the edge of that we can put in some bit of light. Catching the light around the edge, the black back will be in shadow. But I'll have a branch coming out there. A bit darker green in there. So we just build up and then pass over. Nice surface coming there. You get carried away with doing all this, but it's such fun. So I'm playing the light against the dark around here if I can. There we go. Right, so we'll even lighter on here. And put some slow in there as well. Right, flat brush. Let's we'll do this as a silver birch because I got carried away with it yesterday. So let's put in some. A bit of sienna and a bit of black. Oh, not sienna. Yeah, burnt sienna. But probably the shape of the tree now is not quite right for silver birch. But anyway, they're lovely things to do. I will put a bit of light on there. A bit in shadow. Around there. And then we can just go back with the dark. Now, you could get carried away with doing silver birches, but that's a nice, quite nice looking tree, isn't it? It's, don't mean to put words in your mouth. But so we just have these little branches that just sort of go off everywhere. I have to be very careful where I put my rag, because it usually invariably ends up on my jeans, and but you do get these dark, thin, spindly. bits and pieces, like the twigs, the branches, they're very, it can be very, very thin. Oh, I'll thicken that one up. I want to put some snow on that. Now, ay. Okay, might thicken that one up there a little bit. Right. Let's put in the, no, we'll be careful with it because I don't want to disturb the paint. I'll just put on this silver birch. I'm using a bit of greeny sort of colour here. As we come down into this, we can okay, that'll do. Now I'm going to counter change here. Let's get some wedges of snow. That'll be a bit of shadow there. That bit of snow. Shadow up there. I'll put some light things on, light branches, things. Just dumping in some bits of snow in this, and there'll be some. Probably have to put these in with some shadow, or with a stippling, a bit of a stipple. Okay, well, we're sort of coming on there. Right, let's put in some shadow. Some lighter shadows in there. That's all. I'm only guessing where these actually end up. Oops. Let's put some shadow in here. Let's develop that side there. I've got to go back and do those trees there. Let's take out the water. Right, let's get a rigger. That's the rigger there. We'll just put in some of these. A bit darker than that maybe. Sorry, oh, if I'm asking you, I'm just. Oh, that's too. You need quite a bit of liquid on the brush too. Oops. Just like the tone of some of these, it's just a really beautiful day. Getting there with some lighter ones. See, watercolour has been done, hasn't it? So these are just faintly done to show some woods in the distance there. I'm going to have to do some work in this area now. A bit of stipple, so just the same sort of blue, but to show a bit of ivy. Now I need a bit of contrast in there, so we can just show us if a bit of snow in there as well. Oh, let's put some air back in there, isn't it? I'll do the same in there. Just I'm just trying to lose some of the obvious trees. Right, now let's get in with some nice greeny sort of colour in here. Because there will be some green, evergreen, so we need to show it. It's not all bare trees. No mixing techniques here, but my painting, and I can put some bit of warm. Terry Harrison does all this with sponges. He gets a lovely effect. Don't like that there. Let's get there. Right, let's show a little bit up here just to catch in the light. Now, the nice dark green. Bit of ochre. Right, okay. We'll sort out this now. Let's get in some we'll have some shadow coming in from outside the picture. There's a bit of black and a bit of burnt sienna. Right, where's my stippler? There's my stippler. We'll get some slightly bluey snow in here. See that just shows a little bit of snow on the top of these things, but you've got to be aware that some of these are in shadow. The tops will be in the light. Nice and light there. Right there. We'll just put a bit catching the light in here. Now we've got the shadowy colour, the shadow snow in there. Alright, let's go back and right, now we want to put in some snow back there now. Right, snow colour, a little bit of sienna, or ochre shall I say, a bit of red, because they're reflecting the colours, the local colour. I'll just show them down there. Just soften the edges there. So the light coming through the gaps in the branches and the trunks. And we've got some nice darker shadows coming along this path here where people have walked. Need some more white, which is why I keep the palette going, because I keep adding a load of white and I hate to waste it. But hey, never mind. This is a shadow, it's a snow, and a bit catching the light here maybe. We're getting carried away now. We're only carrying away. But it's heavy snow, isn't it? Just dragging. Who's it, Susie watching? Who's doing pastel? You can get the same effect by dragging over the high spots as pastel. It's such a beautiful way to paint. Let's just light here, go in the high spots. Let's try a little bit of knife. Here the paper now, it's I'm going to put in some twigs. Growing out of this snow. Let's get some more white in there. Just to give a variety in the texture. And that's okay. I don't know if I've improved it or what, but I want to get in some flatter, sort of like the painting knife, just a little bit of impasto. And that will be in the light, catching the light here. Tiny bit of red in there. And then back in with the shadow in here. Okay, well we're getting something going on there, aren't we? Now let's back in with that bluey shadow colour. I hope I'm taking too long on this, but you can always fast forward. Don't have to watch it all. Right, vigour. Bit of ochre, I think. A bit of white. Something showing up there. You can do the same with the black. Just a little bit of detail, and so with the vigour and some of this warm colour. There again, the side of the rigger, just showing some bits and pieces, bits of grass showing through. That's a bit of interest there. And into that, I won't put the figure in, we can put a little bit of cast shadow. I'll give that a bit of a signature. I'm reasonably satisfied with it. But painting a snow picture in the spring, I need to do. Oh, hold on. I need to put some more branches on here. Excuse me. Oh yeah. When I overdo this, just right, okay. Let's have a look at it against what I copied it while I worked it. That's the watercolour. There's the acrylic. Now what I'm going to do now is to put a mount around it, and we'll see what we've done. It always looks better with a mount. Let's see if that. Oh, there we are. Right, well, it took a while, but I think you'll agree that it's not a bad attempt at that. At an acrylic, opaque medium. Let's have a look at it close up. Right, let's go on to the silver birch first. Come across this landscape there. Let's go on to the others. Well, no, let's say what's on this. Here's my tree. And there's the one with all that ivy with a bit of shadowy snow in. There is that there, nothing really. Just come out of it. Alright. Bring my camera around a little bit, so a bit more full on. Alright. See if I can get it even straighter. Hold on. Well, that's not too bad there. Right, I hope you enjoyed that. Just have a look at it for a minute. I've got these distant trees in the midst of the, well, maybe they're quite distant. These are even more distant. But I've got enough warm in there with the burnt sienna, bit of red. I quite like my silver birch. It's a bit sketchy, but it was good fun to do. Maybe I should have put 2 or 3 in. But then it would be a regiment, wouldn't it? Thanks for watching. Could I just lower that down a little bit more? Yeah, that. Okay. That's the whole picture. Thanks for watching. See you again. Bye bye.